And as promised before, we have George Metz with G Metz Moving and Storage in the studios with us today, alongside with our co-host for the day, Mary Breimer with Ginger Green Financial. And George, you know, one of the things that we wanted to talk with our listeners about today was the fact that the market is intense right now and people are scattering trying to find the best movers, you know, at the best value. And there's a lot of things that can happen that can really mess up the time of their closing. So there's a few questions that people should ask movers in order to make sure for a smooth transition, right?
Right. So some of the main questions you want to ask your company that you're going with, again, whether it's us or other companies, you want to make sure that they have enough manpower to accomplish the move in a timely manner, especially now when closings are at 12, 1 o'clock, and the house has to be cleared for the final walkthrough.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that they have the right amount of guys, the right amount of truck, and the right amount of equipment across the board to make sure that the house can be empty for the walkthrough. So you want to ask, and some of these questions are hard to ask. How many guys do you have? How big is your crew? How many trucks do you have? And what happens if a big contract comes along? Are you going to just throw me to the side for that big contract? That does happen a lot in this industry, so you definitely want to make sure you're asking those questions. You want to make sure that the company that you're dealing with does have the license to move residential in Rhode Island. You want to definitely ask that, because if they book with you and they just leave you stranded, they can get penalized for that. So those are two questions that you definitely want to ask right from the beginning.
Now, George, you said something about the final walkthrough, make sure that the house is ready. You won't believe how many people actually don't know that they have to have all of their stuff out of the house before the final walkthrough. I mean, to me, it's common sense, you know, but, you know, not everybody thinks the same.
Right.
And when you're closing on a house, everything has to be out. So make sure, another thing I want to add in there, make sure you book your moving company to get there the day or two before, and that you have accommodations. Or what do you do when
So we've done that actually for a few of your clients and a few clients from the show that have called in. So you have to be out by 10 o'clock. And you have nowhere to go. You're either new to Rhode Island or you have no family to go to, and the friends have a nice couch, but they're not going to let you on it for the night. So those are the things that...
And they're not friends.
then they're not. Or it's a brand new couch. So what we do is we'll go in, we'll load everything the night before. So we load everything except for the bedroom. So that way you have your bed, you have some belongings in the kitchen so you can make that last meal in the house, or have a picnic the night before in an empty house and have your bed set up.
Yeah.
We come in first thing in the morning, load that up, the truck goes away, and then we meet you, again, 12, 1, 2 o'clock to unload everything into your new home after the closings are all done. So again, there's always options. For any client that's out there with back-to-back closings, staggered closings, a closing on Monday and a closing on a Thursday for selling one, buying the next. So we have all those options covered. We're used to it. It's not the way it was 10 years ago where you close on one on Monday, but you don't have to wait. You can go direct. There are still some of those clients out there, but overall, they need the back-to-back closings to get into their new house.
Yeah.
And we can accommodate them. So it's all about each client's individual needs.
So let me ask you, what is the biggest issue you see out there when moving? What's the biggest, toughest hurdle that you guys have to, jump over when moving somewhere?
For us, the biggest hurdle is timing. People really don't think of the mover when it comes to timing.
You're a magician. You're not a mover. You're a magician, I thought.
And we are. We make it disappear and reappear from one house to the other.
Yeah.
But no, the biggest thing is timing. You have that client that lives in Cranston, and they're worried about finding the right realtor. They're worried about finding the right closing attorney. They're worried about finding the right financial to go into their new house. And the last thing on their mind is, who is going to move me? That's the absolute last thing that they're worried about, is physically getting everything moved from point A to point B. And then 2 days before the closing, they're calling frantic. We forgot all about booking a mover. We don't know what to do. What should we do? And that's where it comes into play. So book in advance. Especially now's the season. We have things booked up until August already. There isn't one day where we do not have anything booked already. So book in advance. For us, if you book with us, you're our client. There is no rescheduling fee. There's no cancellation fee. Get your name on the board. Get your information in there, and then we can always fluctuate. Other companies can as well. I would hope. If not, you don't want to go with them. Make sure your company that you're dealing with is flexible.